One of the most popular issues across the nation is the outrageous prices in the healthcare market. A vast percentage of the citizens of this country have been greatly affected by them. The Affordable Care Act has become a nightmare to the middle class. The Affordable Care Act states that each and every single individual must have health care coverage. If not, they will be penalized. It has become an issue to the El Paso community due to the high number of Latinos. Latinos are highly affected due to their low salaries or their immigration status. The millennials are also a huge factor in the subtle decline in insurance purchasing. Healthcare, unfortunately, is at its all-time high. 11.3% adults were expected to join the uninsured community due to the rising prices of health insurance in the last quarter of 2017. In this pie graph shown, you can see that 40% of the graph consists of Latinos not being insured due to not being eligible for government programs. The low income were struck by the price increase in coverage. Southerners don't have access to government initiatives such as CHIP, Medicaid, or Medicare. Millennials qualify to receive government assistance, however, it is rejected. 52% of the healthcare budget goes directly to government programs such as Medicaid, Medicare, CHIP, amongst a few due to the Affordable Care Act. Unfortunately, in 2017, the budget was cut due to the high funds that were given to the military. But the question we should be asking ourselves is free healthcare, is it actually a reality or a fantasy? Some of the pros to universal healthcare would be that we wouldn't rely on the government so much. Costs of the system are much less. Some of the cons, which are way more than the pros, would be eliminating the spending in healthcare. That would definitely affect the GDP. Innovation would no longer exist. For example, pharmaceutical breakthroughs would no longer take place due to the fact that medication would be accessible to anyone. In the current presidency, with President Trump in the lead, Republicans have joined forces to eliminate Obamacare and replace the Affordable Care Act, which has insured 20 million since 2013. The Republican healthcare plan would have left 14 uninsured in 2018. It is estimated that 10.5 million Americans will lose coverage by 2020. Medicaid is a program designed to provide coverage for the children. Medicare and Social Security have a chip on their shoulder because that's how millions of the elderly sustain an average quality of life. It is projected that Social Security will no longer be around by 2022. Whether this system is right for society at this point of time or not, the U.S. has continued to force the idea in policymaking. It is no myth that the U.S. continues to spend very large amounts of money in attempts to fund a program or system that can benefit everyone in the long run. The numbers are monstrous in comparison to any other country in the world. Programs that benefit the public in terms of medical needs include Medicaid, Medicare, take up to 25% of the government budget alone. In addition to these mandatory programs, the Social Security Administration also takes a big chunk of the government along with subsidies that are given to those who are found within poverty lines in the eyes of the government. It isn't clear in terms of which direction the government takes next. Views are constantly changing and policies will change depending on who is in the office and who is in charge of policy making. However, it is up to the public to speak up and communicate on what we need as a society to continue to grow and flourish. Whichever way it is put, we should make strides toward a brighter future for the generations to come.